Hi, this is Eric, and this is Desert Pitfall State of the Game Part 2. This is just going to be another high-level overview of kind of where I'm at with progress and any big changes from the previous state of the game. So we're in our game tick right here, and right off the bat, there's a lot less happening. I took out a lot of debug stuff because our renderer has changed quite a bit. And you also notice that the collision manager is no longer even being used. So very interesting changes. So let's start by looking at what's going on with the renderer. There we go. And we're now consulting the tile map for information about the world. The past, we were actually just drawing the level onto a surface that we stored on the side, and we were just kind of copying from that to the real map. We did away with that, and we're now just going to start actually drawing square by square. And so the camera, or the renderer here, he's going to go through and he actually tells the level, uh, the sprite of level, set its frame. He's getting tile information from the level, and then we just draw it to the screen position. So we're going to try this out for a while. I'm not sure if it's actually going to work out. I do get some screen tearing right now, so I might have to go back to the old other way, but we'll check it out this way for now. And so I've got two passes here within the loop because we're drawing the kind of the obstacle layer, the layer that you're on, and then we've got a little bit of foreground stuff, so like vines and stuff on top of that. So we need to show both of that. And down here, this used to be the renderer. It was just this little guy. Everybody was a game object, and they were in a pool. Right now, this is probably going to just be for dynamic obstacles. So enemies and the player and anything else that's going to move around the map that you can't really just consult a tile map array of ints and say, here he is at XY position because he's moving around. So this is going to be reserved for more dynamic stuff and not a bunch of just static obstacles. And then we've made a lot of changes in the player class. So let's go take a look at him. We didn't dive into the player last time because there wasn't actually much to look at. But now we have states and actions as commands. So it's very cool because the state, you just give it the player, your input, which is just the keyboard for now, and the command, just the pointer. And depending on what the input is, the state's going to do its logic, and it either returns null, and it's going to stay at the same state, or it's going to return a new state to the player. And I think this is just super cool. And I got this from Game Programming Designs, and I'll put a link to that. And I also did the command pattern from there too. Very, very cool stuff. It might be overkill for this kind of game, but it was really fun to put in. And I I don't think it's really going to be that much overkill because it's actually made things a lot simpler. So uh, yeah, so if our state changes, we do the exit event of the current state, swap our states here, and then we do the entrance event of the new state. And then when we finally get to our update function, this is our gravity still hanging out here. We do the command if we have a command. And then the command is things like moving your character and jumping and climbing vines and things like that. Oh yeah, so we do have new things our character can do. We can jump and we can climb vines now, so it's really nice. Extra stuff here, usually animation based on the state. And then we get to do our tile collision. Now, I don't remember. I think last time we had some very basic tile collision happening. I actually don't remember, but I had to do a lot of extra work to make this work because my mind just was not doing the math right. And so I spent a whole day not making any progress, and I went searching, and I found one lone coder, and he had a great video on doing AABB collision using a raycast, and it's really nice. It always pulls your character out to the collision point and preserves any movement in the direction that didn't make collision. So you can actually slide across surfaces or things like that. You don't have any weird issues about, you touch a corner of an object and your character doesn't know how to get out. It's all handled very nice. Um, so I'll put a link to that, but that's what's happening in this collision process. We just see what we've hit, or actually we create a box the same size of our character where we're going to be, and then we check collisions at that new box. And depending on the state, we have a different kind of collision mask, because certain states will hit only certain kind of item. And then we make a little collection of those objects, because our raycast does need some kind of object with a size and a shape to do its math against. And then we resolve it right here. And we get our contact normal, which I use to determine if I'm back on the ground, and we're done. So add is really cool, and I'm very happy with how it handles. So we'll take a quick look at actual gameplay. So we've got our dude, and we can see that we have states: jumping, falling, walking, standing, and climbing. There we go. Right now, obviously not much animation going on here. When you climb, you are stuck to the center of the vine. You can go up and down, you can jump off. The collision detecting is still really big boxes, so you don't have to be that close to it to actually snap to it. And you can actually climb down through this. So if you press down, you'll snap to it and climb through. This is really cool because these blocks usually are obstacles, but if it's overlapping a vine, you can jump through it from below. So I can jump and I land on top, and then it's a walkable surface until you press down. So that took a while to get working correctly, but it works really nice now, and this is great too. You're like just super snug, exactly, fit, weird stuff happening. Yeah, this collision system is fantastic. Love it. So there's a little thing here is that the the falling state doesn't trigger if you just walk off an edge. So I'll have to add that because I think you can actually possibly jump in the middle of that fall. Maybe not. So anyway, the things that we're going to add this week are, I hope, the rest of the mechanics for movement. So we have to add some type of trampoline, and we have to add a zipline, which are both in the Mayan Adventure game. For the trampoline, I'm going to tweak it and make it I think a fan for the desert. So it'll just be a thing you walk into that'll kind of suck you to a central point and then just shoot you straight up. And for the zip line, it's still probably just going to be a zip line, just vines or a rope. And hopefully once I get both of those done, that'll make the rest of this pretty easy because that's most of the big movement stuff. So I can actually create a level knowing how movement is going to be, and can start working on like enemy placement and things like that. So that's where we're at. I'll make a few detail videos this week over the state, command, and collision system. The renderer is not ready to be talked about, and hopefully we'll get everything done, and next week we'll have all the movement mechanics in. All right, later.